You have questions?
What is slashing?
We have answers.
Slashing is, like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. And there's a penalty for that?
Yeah. You do that, you go to the box, 2 minutes by yourself, and you feel shame, and then you get free.
This is CBJ in 30.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey, here we go.
Tweet your questions by using the hashtag CBJIN30.
We'd like to remind you folks, keep your questions within the boundaries of good taste.
Here's your host, Bob McGilligan.
Welcome to another edition of CBJ in 30. Back in the beautiful and spacious Blue Jackets radio broadcast booth here at Nationwide Arena, as we're coming on the heels of a big day for the Blue Jackets yesterday. Of course, yesterday I sat here and talked with General Manager Jarmo Kekalainen about the schedule and about the upcoming draft. And then what happened? He left that conversation. He went out and he swung a big trade with the Philadelphia Flyers, trading R.J. Umberger back to the Flyers, a team that he originally came from, to the Blue Jackets 6 years ago. And in exchange, he got Scott Hartnell, who is the newest Columbus Blue Jacket. And very pleased to have Scott Hartnell with us right now. Hello, Scott. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm great, as a matter of fact. Thanks for taking some time out of your summer to join us. I didn't know when Jody Shelley and I talked to you a couple of months ago on our radio show, I never thought in this quick a period of time you'd be a Columbus Blue Jacket, and I'll bet you never thought that too.
No, I signed in Philly for 6 years there a couple summers ago, and obviously I plan to play out my career and retire a Flyer, and that's kind of why I guess how everyone signs a long-term deal like that, they think they're going to play for the team. But, things do change, and I think change is a great thing here in this situation, for me in my career going forward. And I come to a great, young, energetic team. So I am a Blue Jacket, and pretty excited about it.
You had to waive a no-movement clause to come here. And I read all the stories about talking with Jarmo Kekalainen, talking to John Davidson about the direction of the franchise. What was it that they talked to you about that really rung home with you and really wanted to make you waive that clause to come here to Columbus?
Well, I think this league is going younger, obviously, and I'm in my early 30s now, but they're just talking about the kids that they have coming up, the kids that played last year. I think they, were talking about leadership and kind of a veteran presence in the locker room, and I think, I can fill that void. I've been, in the league for 14 years and, almost 1,000 games. So, but just the talent and, playing against the Blue Jackets the last couple of years, they're a hard team to play against, and we never, ever looked, forward to playing these guys, when I was wearing the Flyers jersey the last couple of years. So, all those kind of things combined, and they are trending upwards. And I was like, wow, this is a good opportunity to kind of have a fresh start and, be with a team that's really, really excited to, have me in their uniform. And, that kind of combination, you don't want to play for a team that doesn't want you, basically. And Columbus was like, come on over, and so I made that decision. So it's like I said, I'm very excited, and for a couple of days now, when I kind of had my mind set on it, I've been nothing but smiles.
When you talk about being with a team that wants you, I had read some stories in the Philadelphia papers that you said that you were kind of shocked and disappointed, obviously, when the Flyers came to you and said almost, hey, your time here is up. It's time for us to look to move you somewhere else. Where do you go from, or how do you go from that initial disappointment to this excitement? How many days does it take you to get through that whole process?
It's been about 5 or 6 days now since I got the first call, and I was shocked. Obviously I didn't really want to leave Philadelphia, and after talking to JD, to Jarmo, to Todd Richards, kind of how excited they were to have me, and I was mad, I was upset, I was, a lot of different emotions were going through me, right? You spend 7 years with a core group of guys, the Simmons and Braden and Luke Shen, great kids from out west in Canada. Obviously playing with Giroux and Jake. You guys know Jake Voracek from Columbus, and Mason has, kind of found his game again. And so, look at all those combinations. I know I'm missing a few there, but to be best friends with those guys and then just get a call and say, hey, you're moving cities, moving teams. We're gonna, fight you in the corners next game we play you guys. So it was a shock. But sometimes you gotta, you don't want to try harder. You try something different, and this is definitely something different, and I'm excited about it.
Well, you talk about your friends there, but you do have a very good friend here in Jody Shelley, and I'm sure that you would have had conversations with him about the organization and the direction, and some of the same types of conversations that you had with Yarmo and John Davidson. But what was Jody able to tell you about Columbus, and especially a guy that has now made his off-season home here? He's raising his family here. What was he able to tell you about this city and about this team?
Well, if you know Jody, I think his favorite word is great. And he asked, how is the city? He goes, Scotty, it's great. He goes, you'll love it. And, just talking about the guys, and he's really passionate about, Boone Jenner, Johansson, Murray, all guys in their early 20s that are going to be great players. And, I was excited to hear that from Jody. Obviously, I respect him, and he played a lot of games playing probably an enforcer role that nobody wants to play, and he just loved it. So, I'm excited to be close to him and his family, and try a new city that's obviously a little bit lower belly, but I think that'll be good for me at this point in time.
Well, you talk about all of those former teammates of yours, and I know somewhere in this list of questions that I got on Twitter for you today, somebody asked me how excited you are about playing with Sergei Bobrovsky once again, who, of course, was your Philadelphia Flyers teammate up until just a couple of years ago. Coming in and at least knowing that guy, just take everybody else out of the equation, knowing that this team is set in goal right now with former Vezina winner and a guy you know very well. How happy does that make you?
Well, I think you look at the past Stanley Cup championships, and they all have elite goaltenders, and that was obviously probably one of the biggest, kind of factors or questions that you have when you go to a new team is their goalie position filled. And I've never, ever seen a harder working player, forward, defense, or goalie than Bob. And he's always riding the bike. He's always working on his game. In practice, he works so hard. So, I just remember trying to score on this guy in Philly. And I'm like, why are you trying so hard, Bob? So when you come down the ice and shoot, you try harder. It makes you a better, kind of goal scorer and shooter because, you want to get one past him. So, just really excited about seeing him. And I actually got a text from his Russian number in broken English on text message that he's pretty excited to see me. So I can't wait to see him as well.
We're talking with Scott Hartnell. He was traded to the Blue Jackets yesterday from the Philadelphia Flyers. A lot of excitement here in Columbus, and as you can hear from Scott, a lot of excitement from him too. I did get a bunch of questions. I want to run a couple of these past you. Carly tweeted in and said, what did you think of the Blue Jackets when you played against them?
Well, I think, that was an organization that kind of had some ups and downs. I think they're, when they first came in the league when I was in Nashville, the city was buzzing for years, and I think they did have a little lull period there where things were kind of went a little sideways, and just talking with JD and kind of the way they're going and kind of what JD his track record was, what he is for that organization, and the respect that he has for the hockey people that I talked to the last few days. Nothing short of perfect. So there is a buzz. And the one thing that I absolutely love too is you talk to these guys in management, and they were happy kind of where they were last year, but they were a little bit upset and angry that they didn't get past Pittsburgh in the first round to keep on going. And when you have an organization that's not content with just making the playoffs, that believe they have a chance of winning and going far every year, that's a great culture. That's a great habit to have, and I'm excited to do that. I just want to win. I want to, bring a Stanley Cup, and Columbus would be a great city for it.
You talk about where the Blue Jackets were losing in the first round. You know that feeling, of course, because that happened to you guys against the New York Rangers. You didn't get out of that first round. You took them to 7 games. How disappointing was it for you, first of all, not to move on, but then secondly, watch the way the dominoes fall and watch where the New York Rangers wound up when it was all said and done?
Yeah, it was. I think we, if we would have lost, I think one more game during the year, we would have ended up playing Pittsburgh, and you guys would have played the Rangers. And, I think matchup-wise, it would have been, I think, better for both of our teams, to be honest. But you can't sit here and look back at what could have been or whatever. But it is frustrating to lose a game 7. Obviously, I don't think I didn't play my best hockey for sure there in that first round, and I think some guys on our team didn't as well. So it leaves a sour taste in your mouth for sure. And give the Rangers credit; they took down a big team in Pittsburgh and kept rolling. But I think everyone knew that, or I kind of figured that LA would come in and whoop them, and they did just that.
You talk about Pittsburgh, and of course you have a good history against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They don't like you very much. Let me read you a text I got. Truth be told, I'm going to be honest with you, Scott. I'm originally from the Pittsburgh area. And
oh, gosh.
No, don't worry about it. We're all good here. But I got this text yesterday from my cousin, and I'll read it for you verbatim. It says, I hate Scott Hartnell, and I hate the Blue Jackets getting him. Great for the rivalry, though. And I think a lot of people here in Columbus are feeling that same way. They're pretty happy to get a guy that has been somewhat of a Penguin killer in his career.
Yeah, it was weird. My first, I'll never forget the first couple games against Pittsburgh when I first became a Flyer 7 years ago, and it didn't take long to get that hatred going for Sidney and Malkin and those guys, and you get a real bad taste in your mouth when you think of those guys, and you go into that, their building, and in Philly there was so much hate, just passion for the game, and it's sometimes it's hard to, or it's not hard to get up for those games, but some games against Florida or whatever, it's just, maybe just another hockey game. But, the Pittsburgh ones were always filled with penalties. They're always filled with, great action. And, I think, I know for a fact, like you just said, Pittsburgh absolutely hates me. And, I'm excited to kind of get under their skin as a Blue Jacket. So it's part of my game. I love kind of mixing things up and obviously having fun out there. And, but there's a fine line between having fun and getting the job done, and I want to obviously do a little bit of both. So,
can you see that same culture coming into play with the Blue Jackets fans here as time evolves? I mean, last year Rick Nash came in here and punched Sergei Bobrovsky in the mask, and that really set things off. So that's automatic rivalry right there. You lose to the Penguins in the first round of the playoffs. Of course, they always say that's where rivalries are created, in the playoffs. Now the Blue Jackets bring you in, who the Penguins, as you just said, don't like. Can you see there being that level of animosity really starting to create itself in this building against the other teams, especially in the Metropolitan Division?
Oh, absolutely. And, this is a new kind of era for the Blue Jackets as well, right? Being in the Eastern Conference and, new players and new teams, and, being an Eastern player like myself the last, years, these guys, and you get to not like them, and all this kind of stuff. So it is exciting, and I'm excited to be there with a young team and lead these guys to getting this hatred going and getting the team going and everything. So I'm super excited. I'm you watch these guys play. I'm excited to play with some young guys that that youngness I think feeds off to two other players that come into the team. So I'm just super excited, like I said, and can't wait to get down there, get set up in a place, and get going again. I wish the season was next week, to tell you the truth.
I'm glad you used that hatred word, because yesterday I interviewed Yarmo on this show, and the New York Rangers are the home opener. And I asked him about that level of hatred getting going right off the bat. And in typical GM style, he kind of downplayed the word hatred and said dislike or rivalry, but it really does turn into hatred in this division, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all the teams are so close too. They all have good players. They all can, I think, beat any team on any given night. So you have to play your best hockey, and when you take a night off, it's going to show on the scoreboard. So being professionals and being ready to go every night, against the Flyers, against the Pens, against the Devils, against the Capitals. Those are teams that have a chance to make it, and for Columbus to be a playoff team year in and year out, you got to be great every night. So that's our plan, obviously.
And you're going to have to play against those Flyers 5 times this year, and I don't know if you've thought, it's probably too new in the process for you to think what that's actually going to be like.
Yeah, it's still, I've got a lot of emotions too. I've been in Chicago the last couple of days here with my agent, and we went for dinner last night, and I noticed a table a few over were kind of, kept looking over, and I'm like, I don't know if they recognize me or what. I'm in Chicago. I thought I was, low key. And they came up over after, and they said, hey, we're from Philly, and we're really, really upset about you leaving, and wish you all the best in Columbus, and I got a little choked up there too, and that was probably the first people that have come up and said, good luck, we will miss you, right? So it's still fresh. There's still some fresh wounds, but time heals those wounds, and time to move on.
All right, talking with Scott Hartnell here. A couple of people have asked this question, Scott. Beth has asked it. DJ Quicksilver has asked it. And some people are asking about what line are you looking forward to playing on, but I'll change that because nobody knows at this point what the lines are going to look like. But are there any players on this roster that you would hope that you get a chance maybe to play alongside of on the same line?
Well, I know Dubinsky really well from him being a Ranger and kind of the pest he is. I think I fought him once or twice, and he played unbelievable in the playoffs. He looked like just yet another gear that he can't get into. So he would be a great centerman, obviously. Johansson's got a lot of skill, can make plays, a big body, and it would be great to play with him in the middle too. So you go right through the whole lineup. I'm just excited to be there. Obviously, the things changed last year when Horton signed there too. Kind of making a splash in the free agent market, and me wanting to go there too. It's I think it sends a message, I think, to the league that Columbus is for real, and as long as we're playing our hearts and leaving it on the ice, we're going to be successful.
I want to ask you and some other people here. I'll just ask you this question. Colin Madigan said, "Can you tell us a little bit more about the Hartnell Down campaign? I know this is something that you've started. You've been very involved in the community. What is Hartnell Down?"
Well, this guy a few years ago, a fan in Philadelphia, was counting how many times I fell down on the ice during a game, and he set up this ticker, and halfway through the year, this ticker was had 145, and I saw it at a road game, said Hartnell Down 145, and I'm like, what the heck does that mean? And and then a few games later, it was Hartnell Down 161, and I'm like, why is this thing going up? And so I asked my trainer to go talk to this guy. He told me what it meant and about falling down and whatnot, and I said, wow, this is kind of crappy, this guy thinks I'm a bad skater or whatever, right? So anyways, just talking with my agent's wife, actually, and she said, well, let's make a T-shirt, hashtag Hartnell Down, and sell it, and we'll just give, we'll order a couple hundred, and we'll just give the money to, a charity in Philly or something. And, lo and behold, we got a website and put it up there. All 200 were gone in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? When you tweet something out, it gets to everybody immediately. And, then she ordered 1,000, and then they were gone, and just kind of kept going, and ended up writing a children's book, obviously, and it had a lot of flyer stuff in there. So anyways, it got this foundation going, and kind of, I don't know, just blows me away to support that the Flyers fans, I guess, had fun with it and enjoyed it. And I'm looking to bring that thing to Columbus as well, where just to give back to the community, get some kids that are unfortunate into hockey, into sports, things like that, and give back to the community. It's a lot of the hockey players do it, and it's just I think some in everybody's blood that when you play hockey and make great money is to give back and donate to where you're playing. So I'm excited to do that, and hopefully people love it and enjoy it. And there is a website. It's www.hartnelldown.com, and there's lots of cool stuff on there. So we'll have some new stuff up there soon, I'm guessing, and just looking forward to that.
I saw a YouTube video of you reading the book, actually, at a gathering, and I thought, did you do all that yourself? Did you collaborate with somebody?
Me and my sister, actually. We talked about it, would a children's book fly, and not many hockey players can, write this kind of stuff. So my sister Kylie did a lot of it, and, we went through it and changed some things, and, got it illustrated by a gentleman up in Saskatchewan, Canada, and turned out to be this great book. I'm really, really proud of it. And, the people in Philly, in my hometown in Lloydminster, Alberta, it's, I did a reading to every grade 1 class in Lloydminster last week. Did a book signing for a couple hours and signed straight. So people loved it, and I'm just just flattered and I guess honored that people have generous hearts and generous wallets to donate. So it's pretty neat.
Well, I guess this is an opportunity for you. You can either have them re-illustrate the book with a Blue Jacket sweater, or maybe you do a sequel talking them through the trade, right?
Yeah, volume 2. And the whole point of the thing is, the foundation or the message of Hartnell down, and it's a pretty neat book. Is when you fall down, you get back up and you keep going. And no matter what you do in life, if it's you get a bad grade in school when you're a kid, you study harder, you work harder to get that grade. Your grades up again. You fall down doing ballet, you keep trying to do it. And obviously hockey, you're skate on ice, you're bound to fall down as long as you keep on getting up and working towards your goals. And that's kind of been my motto my whole life. I haven't been the best skater, but I've made a good life doing what I do. So that's a pretty good message, I think, for kids, no matter what they're doing.
Well, Scott, I just got a tweet here from Reen who says, "You're killing me, dude. Gonna miss you." So obviously that's a Philly fan that is upset that you're leaving. The draft is in Philadelphia starting on Friday. Just from that perspective, Columbus had the draft back in 2007. It really kind of put them on the map amongst the people in the NHL. It had to get that all-star game here that is coming this season. What do you think Philly's going to be like during the draft, a chance to showcase the city to the hockey community in the world?
Well, Philly's a great hockey town. Obviously, they been around a long time, and it was actually funny when I called Yarmo, yesterday morning, and said I'm going to be a Blue Jacket. He was pretty excited, obviously, and I said, there's got to be one more condition to the trade, and he goes, uh-oh. He goes, what is this? And I said, I'm going to make the first round selection for the Columbus Blue Jackets in Philadelphia. And he's like, I don't think I can make that promise. So I said I was just joking anyway. I don't know if that would go over that well in Philly or not, but we had a good laugh about it. And no, it's a good city, it's a good town, Philly, and I'm gonna miss it, but you got to move on and move on to bigger and better things.
I'll tell you, it would go over okay this Friday, but it's not going to go over very well by American Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, one more thing I've got to ask you, because I had a lot of people ask this, and, well, it's a legitimate question because you're a veteran guy, you've been in the league, and you've worn number 19 with the Philadelphia Flyers. Ryan Johansson has that number here, so a lot of people are asking if you know what number you're going to wear yet.
Well, you better hurry up and sign, or else I'm just going to walk in there and steal it off. No, I thought about it. I got it narrowed down here, and I haven't made a decision yet, but it's coming. It's coming soon, though.
All right. So, but somebody should call him and say, "Hurry up."
Yeah. No. Exactly. So.
And I'm sure you'd be okay with that because you might be lining up along with him. That wouldn't be so bad, would it?
Exactly.
All right. And just finally, how many meatball subs are you going to buy for your old buddy Jody Shelley this season alone?
I can't wait to see that guy on the road and at home, and just see him every day. I miss him, and he was a great teammate, one of the best teammates I've ever played with. So I was pretty excited about spending the next bunch of years with him. So
well, I tell you, you got to watch now. He's big time now. I mean, he's full-time television. He's big time.
Oh, that's great. Good for him.
Absolutely. Scott, thank you so much for taking time today. I really appreciate it, and I really look forward to you coming here and getting a chance to do things with you, and more importantly, watch you play and make this Blue Jackets team better.
Right on. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. That's Scott Hartnell joining me this morning here on CBJ in 30. What a well, there you can hear. Class act, a great person. And I know that, you want guys that can play the game. You want guys that are really good at their craft. They're going to make your team better, but you also want good people. And you just heard it for 25 minutes right there. Scott Hartnell fits the bill. He has the credentials. He has the numbers to back up what he has done in his NHL career. He's going to make this team better. I have no qualms with saying that whatsoever. R.J. Umberger was a great player for this team for a long time, brought a lot of good things, brought this team a respectability and a familiarity being a former Ohio State alum when it needed it. And for R.J. Umberger, he needed to change the scenery for him. And I think the fact that Jarmo Kekalainen was able to pull off this deal for Scott Hartnell is a tremendous deal. And some people will look at it and say, well, he has got a 5-year contract as compared to RJ's 3-year contract. This, in my opinion, was a risk worth taking for the Blue Jackets. I don't even really see it as a risk, to be honest with you, because this guy's going to come in right now. He just mentioned it. Leadership. He's coming from Philadelphia. Losing is not a way of life in Philadelphia. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a story. Earlier this year, we were in Philadelphia, and I was sitting with Jakub Voracek at his locker, and right next to him was Claude Giroux. So, of course, when Giroux came in from the morning skate, all of the media started to gather around, and so Jake and I kind of just shifted down a little bit and continued our conversation. And I said to Jake, I pointed at the big swarm of media, and I said, how's this to deal with every day? And he goes, oh, so it's unbelievable. You could win 5 in a row, and as soon as you lose 1, they're saying, what's wrong with the Flyers? You lose 2, they're all over you. So that is the mindset in Philadelphia. When you play for that franchise, losing's not an option. And yes, you're going to lose, and you're going to have losing streaks. But Jody also told me this past season. When you go into a place like that, it just makes you ill to go to the rink when you've been losing. And for the Blue Jackets, that's starting to develop here. And let's be honest, there were times that wasn't the way because they just couldn't get themselves together and get things moving in the right direction. It's moving in the right direction now. Losing is not an option. Go back to that last playoff game in the post-game interviews. Go back and watch them again. Look in the eyes of Brandon Dubinsky. Look in the eyes of Jack Johnson. Look in the eyes of all of these guys that just had a hard-fought 6-game series and lost, and the season was over, and they weren't moving on to the next round. Go back and look at it, and you'll see disappointment and non-acceptance. And you'll see guys that can't wait for training camp to start again so that they can erase those feelings. Scott Hartnell was going to help to take that and move it on to yet another level. And young players coming in, the message will be, and I'm sure this was the message for Scott Hartnell when he came into Philadelphia. I know it was a message for Jake Voracek when he went to Philadelphia. Chris Pronger was the captain there at the time. You go in, you be a pro, you play as hard as you can every night. And if you do all of those things, we're going to win. Winning is going to be expected of this franchise and of this team. And he also brought up another good point. Nathan Horton coming here last year, there were a lot of giggles and a lot of head scratching going on in the NHL. Why would Nathan Horton pick to leave the Boston Bruins and go to the Columbus Blue Jackets? That happened last year. Wasn't his greatest season, obviously. Injured for most of it, and he hasn't even been himself, Nathan Horton, yet as a Columbus Blue Jacket. But that happened last summer. This summer, Scott Hartnell waives a no-movement clause to come to Columbus, and he's happy about it. It's a lot different from 3 years ago yesterday when the Blue Jackets made another trade with the Philadelphia Flyers and brought in a player that was never okay with it. But again, that worked out okay for the Blue Jackets because Jack Johnson's one of the leaders on the back end now as it all sorted itself out. So Columbus is on the map. There was an article yesterday on Sportsnet out of Canada saying Columbus has joined the hockey world. Players want to come here. Players are looking forward to playing here, and players believe that there's something special going on here. So the draft is coming up on Friday. It'll be in Philadelphia, the first round of the draft. We're going to have live coverage starting at 7 o'clock, and you'll be able to get that coverage here. You'll be able to get it on your Blue Jackets app. However you're watching this right now, you can be doing it a myriad of different ways. And on the Blue Jackets radio network, including AM 1460 in Columbus. Jeff Rimmer will be there. Jody Shelley will be there. I'll be there. We'll be covering what's going on. Jeff Rimmer he's the master of getting big names of the hockey world to come up and talk. So he'll be there. You'll hear from a lot of people around the NHL, hear what's going on with other teams, and, of course, we'll be very interested what happens with the Blue Jackets. Are they going to be at number 16? And if they are, staying right where they are slotted right now, who is going to be the next first-round draft pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets? That's coming up on Friday. So programming note for you. we'll have the show again tomorrow, 11:30 tomorrow morning, and then Thursday is a travel day for me, so there'll be no show on Thursday. And when I get into Philadelphia, then Friday morning, I'm sure it'll be an awesome, bland hotel room, but we'll do the show again. We'll do it from there in Philadelphia. But that's going to wrap up today's CBJ in 30. I can't thank Scott Hartnell enough for taking time out of his day to be on the show to answer your questions. And thanks to you for sending those questions. A lot of good ones. There were like a million I couldn't even get to today. So thanks for sending the questions. Thanks for watching, and we'll do it again tomorrow. I'm forgetting I got to play my music to get out of here because that's the way the show is supposed to work, right? So again, tomorrow morning, 11:30, CBJ in 30, no show on Thursday, and then Friday from Philadelphia, the site of the 2014 NHL Draft, and then rounds 2 through 7 are coming up on Saturday. Development camp starting here at Nationwide Arena on July the 7th, so those new draft picks will be coming here. You get a chance to see them with your very own eyes. That's all coming up, but until then, and until tomorrow, this is Bob McElligott saying, so long.
I'll talk to you later. Don't want to hear it again tonight. I'll talk to you later. Just save it for another guy. I'll talk to you later.